Welcome back to Travel, What to Know Before You Go. Kim and I, my wife, are travel agents, and we are trying to answer some questions that we get from a lot of the clients that we have. So again, there will be a series of these things, and this one in particular will be about money. And what should you know about money? So here's what we're going to cover as we go through. Just a couple of topics. This will be a quick one. We're going to talk about using credit cards, which would include ATM cards. And we're going to talk about some local currency and what to do and how to do. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started on this. What about money? Well, the first thing is, don't do this with your wallet. Make sure that you have your credit cards, your wallet, your ID, in fact, all in a secure place. Personally, when I'm traveling, I don't carry my wallet in my back pocket. I carry it in my front pocket. That's just a little more secure. It's just a little bit easier for me to control what's going to happen with my wallet. I'm also careful when I pull it out as to who's around, what's the situation, and I think about these things, again, observing before I do anything that might cause me issue, might cause me problem. So let's talk about credit cards. I would limit the credit cards that you take if I were you. If you limit the cards you take, you have that much less to keep track of. We went on a trip, quite a while ago, to Mexico. I went on a dive with one of the guys that we went on this vacation with. When I got back from the trip, I got a call from that credit card company saying, or asking, did you charge, I think it was $5,000 or $8,000 in Dallas? And I went, no, I did not do that. They said, well, we didn't think so because nothing else was going on there. So we will not honor this charge. So they were looking out for me. If you take too many cards, you have too many of these things to watch out for. You have too many things to be careful of, to check the charges later, check your statements. So limit the number of cards you take. Now, to help you do that, please understand that not all cards work in all countries. I had clients that went to both Ireland and Great Britain. And from that, before they left, I did some research and found out that their Discover card wasn't going to work over there. A Diners Club will not work in certain places either. Now, if you have a MasterCard, a Visa, something of that nature, it probably will be honored everywhere. However, I have been in stores in Canada that only took one, but not the other. So limit the cards, but make sure that your card will work where you're going to go. And if you have the option, I would take one of each, one MasterCard and one Visa, just to make sure you had a card that was going to work. Not all debit cards will work in other countries either. So if you're thinking about taking a debit card, be careful with that. We traveled one time. My wife had planned on pulling money out of her account using her debit card and went to the bank, and they would not honor that debit card. Now, that particular card was issued by a local credit union. It was a great credit card. We've had nothing but good experiences with them. But they would not honor it in a foreign country. So watch the debit cards that you take. Now, we do have a debit card that we take with us. That debit card is off of a major national bank, and that's where we will pull money from an ATM. I'm not going to go to just any old ATM. I'm going to go to a national bank in whatever country we're at. I will go up to their ATM. I'll look, check and make sure there are no skimmers on it. Now, skimmer is the kind of thing that's going to read the card and pull the number and all of that information from it. So I'll make sure there are no skimmers, anything like that. And I will pull local currency while we're in that particular country. More on local currency here in a few minutes. But just be aware again, not all debit cards will work in other countries. Fourth bullet on here, notify your credit card company that you are traveling. Some credit card companies will not honor your expense or your attempt to charge if they don't know you're in a foreign country. Now, this is not a bad thing. They're looking out for you. They're trying to help you. But so you don't get someplace and have a credit card that doesn't work, notify them before you go. We recommend that you keep all of your receipts. Remember I said earlier about checking your statements? Well, we recommend that you keep all your receipts so that you can cross-reference the receipt to the statement and make sure that everything is legitimate and make sure that there were no extras added onto it after you walked out of the store or restaurant. Finally, please check your account when you return. Don't necessarily wait for a statement, but give it maybe a few days, maybe a week. But if you're a month and a half into a statement, it may be too late for you to do anything about it, to dispute any charges, any problems, any issues. So when you get back from your trip, I recommend that you start checking your account. Let's talk a little bit about local currency. Number one, the exchange rates can change from day to day. So the rate you get today and the rate you get tomorrow may be two entirely different rates. You're just going to have to do the best you can if you're going to get local currency. Foreign currency may be available from your bank. If you have a national bank like we do, we will go in a week or so prior to and order, for us it's $100 or $200 of the local currency of where we're going to go. Now it takes about 2 or 3 days for it to come back, but we will have local currency. We don't have to worry about exchanging right away when we get to the country. One of the things to watch for as you're doing this is that there are places that will be happy to exchange your money at an inflated rate. So you see a red thing in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen there? Be careful exchanging money locally. A lot of the places that we'll travel will have these, it isn't hardly any bigger than a closet, kind of a storefront set up on the tourist walk. And what they want to do is they want to exchange your money, but they'll charge a fee for it. So you're going to get less back than you would if you went to a major bank, something like that, to exchange your money. Again, that's why I go to an ATM. I usually get a better rate if I go to that ATM. If you can, use an app to work out what you're paying. Now we have an app that will show us what the current exchange rate is. We can get it to update before we leave, and it's not going to be that much different while we're traveling. It will go up and down a little bit, but it's not going to be tremendously different. If we update it before we go, it'll be pretty close, and we don't have to use any data to update it while we're there. Now, when we travel to Mexico, the exchange rate with Mexico has gotten worse as far as we're concerned, better as far as they're concerned. But I came up with a method that allowed me to do a on-the-fly kind of exchange thing. So if the thing says it's 300 pesos, if I take and move the decimal, so instead of 300 I say 30, and then I divide that number in half, 15. That 300 peso thing that I'm looking at buying will be about 15 bucks. Now the exchange rate has gotten worse, and so it's not going to be 15. It's going to be more like 1570 or something like that. But it gives me a base idea of how much I'm paying for things. So you may want to make sure that either you have an app or you have a strategy so that if you're in a flea market or something like that, that you have a good idea of what your exchange rate's going to be. Are you getting taken? All of those kinds of things. I do thank you for watching. We'll have more travel tips for you, so please check back to the website. And again, if you have any questions, you need help booking a trip, something like that, you have my contact information there at the bottom. Have a good day.